Have you ever stepped outside on a clear night in New Jersey and just looked up? The vastness of the sky, the twinkling stars, the moon casting its gentle glow, it takes your breath away. It reminds us that there's something much bigger than ourselves out there. Something magnificent, something mysterious. We get so caught up in our daily lives, focused on the here and now. But the heavens are a constant reminder to lift our gaze, to remember the one who created it all, to remember that we are part of something grander, something eternal. Next time you're outside, take a moment to look up. Let the beauty of the sky draw your heart to the one who made it. He is closer than you think, and he longs for you to connect with him. The prophet Ezekiel knew the power of looking up. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 10, we find a breathtaking vision. It's a vision of God's glory, a glimpse into the heavenly realm. Ezekiel sees incredible creatures, wheels within wheels, and a radiance that defies description. Just like what many are seeing and filming over New Jersey and around the world. Right now, above us, every night now. This vision wasn't meant to stay locked away in the past. It's a message for us today, a reminder of God's power, majesty, and unwavering presence. Let's dive into this extraordinary passage and uncover the timeless truths it holds for us. Prepare to be amazed. Get ready to witness the awe-inspiring nature of our Creator. In Ezekiel's vision, we encounter extraordinary beings called cherubim. These are not the chubby, baby-faced angels we often see in paintings. These are powerful, awe-inspiring creatures. Ezekiel describes them as having 4 faces: a man, a lion, an ox, and an eagle. Each face represents something special about God. The man represents God's intelligence and wisdom. The lion represents his strength and power. The ox symbolizes his faithfulness and steadfast love. And the eagle, that represents his soaring majesty and his ability to see all things. The cherubim are God's messengers, his attendants. They stand ready to do his bidding, to carry out his purposes throughout the universe. Their presence reminds us that God is never alone. He is surrounded by a heavenly host, ready to serve him and carry out his will. Next to the cherubim, Ezekiel sees wheels. Not just any wheels. These were extraordinary. They were wheels within wheels, moving in perfect synchronization with the cherubim. They moved in any direction without turning. They went wherever the Spirit led them. These wheels symbolize God's omnipresence and his constant movement in our lives. He is not bound by time or space. He is always working, always moving, even when we can't see it. Just like the wheels moved in perfect harmony with the cherubim, God's actions are always in line with his character and his purposes. We can trust that even when we don't understand what God is doing, he is always working for our good and his glory. Section 5. The Shekinah Glory. God's presence among us. The term Shekinah is derived from a Hebrew word meaning dwelling or settling, and it signifies the divine presence of God dwelling among his people. Above the cherubim, Ezekiel sees a vast expanse like a sheet of crystal. This vision is a powerful reminder of the majesty and purity of God's presence, a presence that is both awe-inspiring and comforting. And above that, a throne of sapphire, radiating a brilliant, overwhelming light. This throne symbolizes God's sovereign rule over all creation, a rule that is both just and merciful. This is the Shekinah glory of God, his visible presence. It is a manifestation of his holiness, a holiness that is pure and unblemished, shining forth in radiant splendor. The Shekinah glory represents God's holiness, his power, and his intimate presence with his people. It is a reminder that God is not distant or detached, but deeply involved in the lives of his followers. In the Old Testament, the Shekinah glory filled the tabernacle and later the temple in Jerusalem. These sacred spaces were set apart for worship and communion with God, and his glory filled them as a sign of his approval and blessing. It was a visible reminder of God's covenant with his people. This covenant was a promise of his unwavering love and faithfulness, a promise that he would be their God and they would be his people. Though we may see a physical manifestation of God's glory today, his presence is with us. We can sense his presence in the sky above, the beauty of creation, in the quiet moments of reflection, and in the love and kindness of others. He has promised to never leave us nor forsake us. This promise is a source of great comfort and strength, especially in times of difficulty and uncertainty. He dwells within every believer through the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is our constant companion, guiding us, teaching us, and empowering us to live lives that honor God. His presence brings comfort, guidance, and strength. In moments of prayer and worship, we can feel His nearness, a nearness that reassures us of His love and care. We can experience His presence through prayer, worship, and by reading His Word. These spiritual practices open our hearts to His voice and help us to grow in our relationship with Him, experiencing the fullness of His love and grace. Section 6. Ancient Vision, Modern Relevance, Signs in the Skies. Some may ask, are there modern-day equivalents to Ezekiel's visions? In ancient times, people often looked to the heavens for signs and wonders, interpreting celestial events as messages from the divine. Today, we still find ourselves gazing upward, searching for meaning in the vast expanse above us. Are there signs in the skies above New Jersey? Could the changing patterns of the clouds, the brilliance of the stars, or the vibrant hues of a sunset be more than just natural phenomena? Could they be whispers from the Creator, reminding us of His presence? While we must be careful not to misinterpret natural phenomena or sensationalize events, we can't deny that God can and does work through extraordinary means. The Bible is filled with instances where God used the natural world to communicate with His people. From the parting of the Red Sea to the star that guided the wise men to Bethlehem, the heavens have always been a canvas for divine messages. Perhaps it's a breathtaking sunset that leaves you speechless. The way the colors blend and dance across the sky can feel like a personal message, a reminder of the beauty and wonder of creation. Maybe it's a sudden, unexpected answer to prayer. In moments of desperation or doubt, a clear sign from above can bring immense comfort and reassurance, reminding us that we are heard and loved. Or maybe it's simply the quiet whisper of the Holy Spirit, guiding you, comforting you, reminding you that you are not alone. In the stillness of nature, in the rustling of leaves or the gentle lapping of waves, we can feel His presence. God is still in the business of revealing Himself. Every sunrise, every rainbow, every star in the night sky is a testament to His glory and His love for us. He is still speaking to His children. Through the wonders of the natural world, He reaches out to us, inviting us to draw closer to Him. We need to open our hearts and minds to recognize His presence in our lives. By being attentive and receptive, we can see His hand in the everyday miracles around us. We don't need sensational signs to know that God is real and that He is working in our world. His fingerprints are everywhere. In the blooming of a flower, the dew on the grass, and the reflection of the sky in a serene lake, we see His handiwork. Every moment, every detail speaks of His love and care for us. Section 7. Angels Among Us, God's Unseen Helpers. Though we may not see cherubim flying through the sky, Hebrews chapter 13 verse 2 tells us, "Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by so doing some have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it." God's angels are still active today, ministering to His people, protecting them, and carrying out His will. We may never know how often God has used angels to intervene in our lives, but we can take comfort in knowing that He is always watching over us, sending His messengers to guide and protect us. Have faith that even in the midst of difficulty, God is working behind the scenes. He is orchestrating events for our good and His glory. His love for us is unwavering, and He will never leave us to face life's challenges alone. Section 8. Unwavering Hope, Trusting in God's Plan. The book of Ezekiel was written during a time of great turmoil and uncertainty for the Israelites. They were facing the destruction of their beloved city, Jerusalem, and the temple, which was the center of their worship and community life. The Babylonians had taken them into exile, and they were living in a foreign land, surrounded by unfamiliar customs and gods. They were in exile, far from their homeland, their future uncertain. The Israelites were grappling with feelings of despair and hopelessness, wondering if they would ever return to their land, or if they were abandoned by God forever. It was a period of deep spiritual and emotional crisis. Yet, through it all, God was faithful. He did not leave them without hope. Through the prophet Ezekiel, God communicated powerful visions and messages that reassured the Israelites of his presence and his plans for their future. These visions were a beacon of light in their darkest times. He gave them hope through Ezekiel's visions. These visions included the promise of restoration and renewal. God showed Ezekiel a vision of a valley of dry bones coming to life, symbolizing the revival of the nation of Israel. This powerful imagery conveyed that no matter how dire the situation seemed, God had the power to bring life and hope back to his people. These visions reminded them that God was still in control, that he had not abandoned them. Even in exile, God was with them, guiding them and preparing a future for them. The message was clear. God's plans are always for the good of his people, even when they cannot see it. He would see them through their trials and bring them back to their land. This promise of return and restoration was a source of immense comfort and strength for the Israelites. It gave them the courage to endure their present hardships with the hope of a brighter future. Just like the Israelites, we too face difficult times. We encounter moments of uncertainty, fear, and doubt. Life can be challenging, and we may find ourselves in situations that seem insurmountable. But the story of Ezekiel reminds us that we are not alone in our struggles. We may feel lost, afraid, or uncertain about the future. These feelings are natural, but we must remember that God is always with us. He sees our pain and our struggles, and he is working behind the scenes to bring about his perfect plan for our lives. But we can hold fast to the hope that God is with us. His presence is a constant source of comfort and strength. We can trust that he is guiding us, even when the path ahead is unclear. His love for us is unwavering, and his plans for us are always for our good. He will never leave us nor forsake us. This promise is a cornerstone of our faith. No matter what we face, we can be assured that God is by our side, providing us with the strength and courage we need to overcome any obstacle. He is working all things together for good for those who love him. This truth gives us hope and confidence. We can face the future with assurance, knowing that God is in control and that his plans for us are filled with hope and promise. No matter what challenges we face, we can have unshakable hope in God's love and faithfulness. His promises are true, and his love for us is eternal. Let us hold on to this hope and trust in God's perfect plan for our lives. Section 9, Eyes on the Heavens, Feet on the Ground. As we've explored Ezekiel's vision, we've been reminded of God's power, majesty, and unwavering presence. But this vision wasn't meant to make us passive spectators, gazing at the heavens while neglecting the world around us. Yes, let us be filled with awe and wonder at the God we serve, but let us also be compelled to action. Let us be his hands and feet in this world, sharing his love, compassion, and hope with those around us. Let's keep our eyes on the heavens, but our feet firmly planted on the ground, ready to serve our neighbors and make a difference in the world. Let us live lives that reflect the glory of the God we serve. Let us be a beacon of hope in a world that desperately needs it.